Hello and welcome to the Widener World of Sports. I am your host, Anthony Spalding, the Director of Athletic Communications here at Widener University. We're here today with three of our finest student athletes. We have Teresa LaPointe from women's swimming to my right, Justin Mack from football in the middle, and Mary McFillin from women's basketball joining us today. And obviously our topic for today is student athlete demands in the year of 2022. And so I'm going to ask you three, what's it like to be a student athlete in the age of 2022 compared to maybe when your parents played or things of that nature?
So I'll start. Hi, I'm Teresa LaPointe from Widener Swimming. So yeah, it's definitely different. A lot of adjusting, especially I'm a senior, so I've been here for 4 years, and it's definitely been different every single year. So, being a freshman, everything was normal, of course. And then sophomore year, everything, came crashing down. COVID hit. All the sports, weren't the greatest. Everyone was, trying to adjust and, trying to do what they can with this proper protocols and stuff. Like our season was crunched into like a 3-month ordeal. So definitely wasn't enough time. Messed with my mental health, wasn't, what I wanted from the season, obviously. And then junior year, came back, was better. And now senior year, we're here. Everything's basically normal again. So yeah, it's been good so far.
Well, I'm Justin Big Mac football. I'm a sophomore. So last year, my freshman year, it was kind of crazy because we had so many players. I remember it was like 140 players. Like that's pretty crazy. And then now coming to this year, we have numbers are shrinking. Like it's compared to this year and last year, it's like wow. Like you notice how many people have left compared to how many people are here now, and it just feels like everything's feel different. Everything's of course everything's gonna feel different compared to each year you go, but from COVID year and having a lot of super seniors or fifth year seniors to now just us out there is completely different.
Yeah, I feel like definitely with the new, with COVID, like you guys talked about, I feel like, with the fans, like sometimes they couldn't come to our games and obviously that affects our play. I also feel like our age now is different with social media. I feel like social media now is like a big part of athletics, whether it's like getting recruited or even you follow players from other teams, other sports, you see other things and you're like, they're doing this, why aren't we doing that? Or even, it even helps too, like you can find drills online and stuff too. So we do have a lot of benefits from it too, but there's also definitely a lot of things that now we see on social media that can affect how you play, your practice, you see other people doing stuff and, so I feel like social media is definitely one of the biggest things that's changed how sports are today.
I see Teresa nodding her head. What do you think about like how social media and the constant demands of instant gratification from friends, family, whoever is like, do you guys feel that pressure, I guess, with social media and like the instant gratification and all that stuff?
Oh, definitely sometimes. Like sometimes, but at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, I feel it.
So, like, it's like you want to be out there, like, you want everybody to know what you're doing. At the same time, it's like you don't want nobody to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you want to keep it behind doors. So then when you do pop out, it's like, oh, wow, they did all this behind doors. But, yeah, it's definitely like social media. It definitely have an impact in today's sports, definitely.
Like even with like hype up posts, for example, like countdown to like game day and whatever, like meet day for us, it gets you nervous. Like people are like getting, excited to see, what, you guys been trading for and stuff. And then, you don't want to crack under the pressure. Like obviously, when Mary was talking about how last season really no one was in the stands and how people are allowed to be in the stands, like kind of you got to adjust again. Like people were packed at our meet last weekend. I was like, whoa, like it has been like this in years. So, yeah, just like getting adjusted back, even, just like little hype up posts, like I said before, it's like, you get a little anxious. So, maybe it's good game day nerves, but I don't know. It's something I feel like we haven't had in a long time.
Yeah, and I feel like also even kind of what you were saying, like the fact that everything's out there too, like you could have a bad game, but your stats are online. So people are, or they're watching the live stream and you're like coming back and you're like, oh, that was a bad game. And then you go to class the next day or whatever, you see people and you're like almost embarrassed, not like embarrassed, I guess, but you're kind of like, what if they saw that and they know that I did this, that was bad, or, so I feel like now with everything, I feel like everything's on video and everything like that, like everyone can basically see what you're doing. And I feel like that kind of adds to it because there's people in the stands, but then now there's also people watching online and you have no idea who's watching. And I feel like that kind of adds to it as well. Yeah.
What's that pressure like? I mean, I was a former D3 athlete 15 years, or is it 15 years now? 18 years? I can't remember. But anyway, we didn't have this stuff. Facebook was in infancy. Like you got to be in college to have Facebook. Right. That's how infant it was. So for you guys, like the pressures, the just from friends, all this stuff, like what can you do about, or how do you handle it? Like, because that's hard, like, right? I mean, how hard is it?
Yeah, just even like the everyday balance between academics and athletics. Like we're practicing at 5:30 in the morning, multiple days in the week, sometimes back-to-back days. So, even just the exhaustion of, wanting to be at your best all the time, you don't want to disappoint anybody, teammates, your parents, other family members too, even just your friends like around campus, because you never know if they're just going to like surprise, be like, hey, like we're coming to the meet today, like, or a game, you don't want to disappoint, like you want to be on. So
like exactly with the 5:30, like people, that's the stuff people do not see at all. They just think we go out there and run. Like, no, our days are long, really long. Like there's some nights where I'm not getting in bed until like sometimes 11 or 10, and I'm either still up doing homework, still up studying, and have to be up. I'm going to set my alarm at 5:10 a.m. and I have to be on the field by 5:40 or 6 a.m. practice. And right after that, 8 a.m. lifts, and still have to get to class. Like, that's the stuff people do not see. And, like, it takes a toll on your body. It really do. It really do.
I feel like we also, as a sophomore, I've started now to kind of realize to balance, like, especially because there's so many games in a season. You have to realize just to move on to the next one and just kind of, all right, you had a bad game, now get the next one. So, because you obviously don't want that feeling of letting people down. So you just obviously want to then work on it. And, now, especially like you said with social media and stuff now, like technology, we can watch film, you can learn from your mistakes. Now we have all this resources too now that are also a good thing. So, you may have one bad game and then you just kind of have to shake it off and hope that you play better the next game.
It's next play mentality. You got to have that next play mentality. Like the greats forget everything because whatever happened last game don't affect next game.
True. And also, like, speaking as like upperclassmen, you'd always want to like lead by example, like as like, as I'm the senior this year, captain, you don't want to disappoint the younger ones that are looking up at you that don't know as much as, not experience, I should say, in the college setting. Because, we were all there. Like, we all had our first, games and meets. Yeah. And even they were live streamed too, probably at the time, especially with you guys. Yeah. So, that pressure and the nerves and stuff. And a lot of time you want to play cool. Like, you don't want to show that you're nervous. Like, people are watching, like you said, they don't understand the training and what really goes on behind closed doors, because they don't. Half the time they're like, oh, what are you doing, swimming laps? Like, how hard is that? Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Like, half the time, I don't know what you guys are doing.
Like, I don't know what you guys doing. Like,
right,
I just found out y'all practice at 5 a.m. too.
Right, yeah. Like, it's a lot. Even you guys too, like with basketball. Like, we all have our mornings. We all, have lifting time. Yeah. We're all in and out of like in passing, but we really don't understand what we do. Right. And especially with the fans and loved ones at home. Like, even my parents half the time are like, oh, wow, you were up this early every day. Yeah. So we work hard for a reason, just because we love what we do. So
work hard and play hard. That's all.
Absolutely.
It brings a good point. And as, again, ex-athlete, we kind of had strength and conditioning, but it was on your own. Like, it was on your own time, and if you were stronger or bigger or whatever, like, we didn't have that. You guys have all these workouts, all these times, all these practices, all these set things done. And again, going to class and getting in bed at 11. How do you guys pull it off? I mean, it is like, to me, it's impressive. And that's, and again, at the Division III level, you have to concentrate on athletic or academics, athletics, community service, all that stuff. Like, how do you guys handle every little bit of being a D3 athlete?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because I actually had a meeting with my coach the other week, and she was like, she kind of straight up asked me, she was like, why are you here? Why do you want to do this? And I was like, I kind of thought about it for a second, and I was like, because I just like love to play the sport of basketball. Like, because when I was applying to schools, I was like, do I want to go here? Do I want to go here for academics or what? And then my season ended short last year because of COVID, and I realized how much I just like loved playing. And I knew obviously going into college it would be like a bigger step, obviously, because you have lift, practice, games, and then class on top of that. But I feel like if you really have a passion for it and you care about it, then you'll make the time to do it. Because I know there are some people, I mean, obviously you have your bad days, but like if you don't want to be there every day, then there's no reason for you to be there. So I feel like if you really have a passion for it and you want to be there, then you'll be there.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. You just gotta find, if you love it, you're gonna find a way. You're always gonna find a way, even if it's on your downtime doing homework or on the weekends doing homework when you want to be chilling in bed. Nah, you gotta do your work. Especially the bye week is your best friend. That is your best friend. Like, we had our bye week last week. That was my best friend. I got caught up with everything. And then just come out to practice and have the juice, to having a lot of energy. Bring the juice. Like you said, bring the juice. You got to bring the energy. Because I know if one of my teammates have low energy, cool, I can go over there, give him some energy, give him a few jokes here and there. And now he's all up. Now I'm happy, he happy. Now he's going to spread that around. And then we just come together as a team. Like, it's all about how you capitalize on everything. How you capitalize.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, like, positivity really runs deep, and especially during COVID, a lot of people were down. A lot of people were like, do I even want to do this anymore? Right. Not just all sports, not even D3, but all across the board. But having just every day being like, hey, you're doing a great job today, keep it up, just those little words, like, you just bring a smile to someone's face. And realizing that even today I was like, good set, just a little fist bump at the end, and bringing a smile even at 6:30 in the morning, goes a long way. And then, just having such a love for the sport you do, I like, even when I was applying to schools, I was like, I'm not done. I got a little bit left, and, it's all about, playing with your heart. That's, I feel like a lot of us here have, something that's very common. And I love seeing that because, why else are you still doing it? Our bodies are hurting. Mine is. Right. So, like, a lot of us go to the trainers and stuff, and, like, we wouldn't be doing that, getting that sort of help if we didn't care, and we don't want to, like I said before, don't want to disappoint our teammates, disappoint our family. Like, we're doing this because we have such a love for the game, and, just want to keep it going until we can't anymore. Right.
Like that record, even though that means something, at the same time, that record means nothing because we get up every day and get an opportunity to do what we love, to do exactly what we love, or play basketball, swim, or go out and play football. We have a chance to do what we love with our brothers, or in your case, your sisters, right next to you. And then look over, smile, laugh. That's all it's about. Brotherhood and sisterhood all coming together and doing what you love.
I feel like the team aspect is definitely a big part of it too, because like coming to practice and just seeing all your friends, and then like you're going through the same thing, so it's going to be okay, and you all get where you're all going through. Like, it is kind of crazy, I feel like, coming in, how quickly we all kind of bonded, because we all just have pretty much the same. I mean, obviously everyone's different in their own ways and they have different things, but like you just bond so quickly about one thing, and then everyone just kind of comes together, and then we all, like, we just hang out after and we're talking about what we did at practice or whatever, or this, or someone did something funny, and then you just all kind of come together. And I feel like then you kind of get excited to like see them every day and just talk about whatever happened in your class or whatever, and you just kind of look forward to that. So I feel like that also is a big aspect, that like everyone gets along and you're a team and you're going through it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say, these people really become your family. Like, they're, you spend a lot of hours with these people. Like, especially I'm at the pool all hours of the day, 6 days a week for the most part. You're with these a lot, so you really get to know these people. Even people that are older than me, I still talk to them every day. They were seniors when I was a freshman. I still call them the seniors, and I'm like, I'm the senior, so this is kind of weird. Yeah. But like these people really are. You get to know personalities and learn about people that are even from where you're from. All across the country. Where we have our teammates are from, not necessarily in like the tri-state area. So it's really, really cool just to learn about people and develop relationships with people that I never thought I would. So
create them bonds and stuff like that, where you can have them inside jokes, like where certain people know. For my team, my defense, we have an inside thing called saying good times. That's when the hardest times happens. We just yell good times, knowing dang well it's not no good times.
I don't know what that means. Like you guys do. Yeah. Like we're distance swimmers, so we're called the D-Dogs. Like who else would know? Like, I'd be like, oh, D-Dogs. Like, who else would know that? They're like, D-Dogs. They're like, huh? Like, the silly things like that. Those little like quirks and stuff. Goes a long way. Gives a good laugh and stuff. So
definitely.
These people are for life. That's as corny as it sounds. We've been in how long have you guys been in your sports? Like at least for me, like 16 years. It's a long time. So,
I can't even count.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yes.
So, having a lot of years under your belt, like even not even from here, but, the relationships you form within this, like you don't want them to break and, you just want to continue that. Mm-hmm. So.
One of the last point that I kind of wanted to ask you guys, and again, we all play for the love of the game. We all do. We love sports. But you got to have time for yourself and your own well-being in some way, shape, form. How do you guys do that as student athletes here? Like just to have you take your time, try to manage everything, not let it bother you. How do you take time for your own well-being to be able to handle everything that we're going through?
That's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
I'm just very selfless in general. Like I really put myself on the bottom. It's just as me as a person. Like I'm always like, I'd rather give than receive type of person.
Same way I am too.
So like I'd rather, put my life up for the team first than myself. Like even my events that I do, it's not because I don't want to do them. I'm swimming, the hardest events that a swimmer can do. Not by choice, but, because I want us to get the most points in the conference, like at championships. Like where I'll place, it's what matters, not what I want to swim, So even like placing your positions, like it might not be what I do, but it's best for the team. Mm-hmm. So I'm really bad with being, caring for myself. But when I do, like in your room, like I just can't. I watch TV. Like I love watching, just like whatever's on. I like Friends. I've been watching Friends over again, just like laughing with yourself, but sometimes
that was on during my era, so
it's just like having something just easy to just have on in the background, just kind of forget like what's building up inside, it's just forget about the sport, forget about even like academics sometimes, because obviously that's stressful, just as stressful as the sport. Mm-hmm. But just having like little like quirks, I guess. Even just like listening to like certain type of music, just plug your headphones in and like just kind of vibe out for yourself, just kind of relax the mind, even shut your eyes or something, just not be constantly, like a hamster wheel in your head, like constantly moving. Because I feel like that's obviously what we do. We're not used to sitting down. Like I'm like antsy right now, but
I know exactly. Like
I'm like so just it does help having those few minutes where you're like, okay, like I can breathe. So it helps, but it's hard for us to do, I guess.
I know for me, first thing I do meditate. If I ever get free time where I'm finished anything, I meditate. At first, it was shopping. I used to love shopping, but I was like, nah, I gotta save. I gotta save some money. Yeah, I gotta save some money. I used to buy like a lot of things, shoes, clothes, but I was like, nah, I gotta save some money. So I just learned how to just meditate, sit in the room, have peace and quiet time, or just listen to some music that relates to the mood that I'm in, some relaxing, calm music. And then at times I'll just do something take my mind off everything, like play some video games here and there, or talk to some back home people, because you never know what they're going through as well. So hearing their voices, hearing them, they okay, cool, and then they ask me if I'm okay. I'm like, all right, I'm good too. You're good, I'm good. Tell me about what you going on, because my life is pretty boring. It's the same thing I do every day. What you doing is just fascinating, all that.
Yeah, I feel like time management is definitely a big thing that I know I personally had to adjust to, because I love to procrastinate. As much as I hate to say it, I do.
Yeah.
So, coming in here, like last year, it was a big thing to, go to practice, get your homework done, kind of get in that routine. But I also feel like sports actually help with that, because I also, like, once my season ended, I would just lay in bed all day and watch, like, TV, because I was like, I finally have a break, and I just took advantage of it. So I feel like now, I'm starting to get in that schedule again, and time management is definitely a big thing, and you definitely need to put aside like an hour or two, or even like take little breaks, just go on your phone, like he was saying, like call your friends, talk to someone else. I feel like it's just important to kind of like take a step back and kind of gather yourself, and once you kind of get in that routine, then I feel like you'll be on a good kind of path and know where you are and stuff.
Like for us, like all athletes, we don't have time, especially because we don't have time to sit back and relax. Like when we do get it, it's like you said, sitting here now, it's like, oh, I'm actually doing this. I don't got no film to watch or nothing. Yeah. It feels weird. It's like, okay, what's next? But now I know I got nothing next. I'm just done for the night.
Yeah, like half the time we're like, what's time? Like,
yeah,
like
what's
do we
time?
really have it? But yeah, I feel like exactly what you're saying. Like when you're in the off season, you're like, what do I do with myself? I don't want to practice. Like, what do I do? But you also like, just walk around or something. Like call a friend and be like, hey, like let's take a walk around like Memorial Field or something. Just like adjusting to like still doing stuff also was really helpful, especially like during COVID's time. Like just having other people with you, just doing things, just keeping you active all the time, because we're so used to it. So even just like talking with a friend. Keeping active, but also making time for, downtime for you. Because I feel like a lot of us have trouble doing that, especially myself. But, I'm getting better at it. But, still not perfected, but, it's getting there.
So, like, when you get back home, have you ever been like, if I was in school right now, in season right now, I'll be doing this. Have you ever, like, done that before?
Yeah, all the time. I'm like, I would be running sprints right now or something. I'm like, thank God I'm, like, laying in bed right now.
Like, I'll be like, oh, man. I'm supposed to be at meetings right now. I'm like, I don't got meetings. It's
now we're
all
done.
season.
Yeah,
we're done. Yeah.
Well, you guys provided a lot of great insight, and we thank you so much for joining the Widener World of Sports podcast. And, we're going to, check you guys hopefully in the next month, and we'll talk to others just like yourself. And again, thank you so much for joining the Widener World of Sports podcast. My name's Anthony Spalding, and have a great night, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.